Hello everyone again, and welcome to another episode of FiST Chat, the vodcast that features discussions on the topics of film, science and technology. My name is Ben Warner, and I'm joined once again by my good friend and colleague Steve Kern. How you doing there, Steve?
I'm good, Ben, and I'm looking forward to today's talk. There's nothing more than I like than a good film festival. They are hard to find.
They are hard to find, despite the thousands and thousands of them that are out there. So don't forget our website, www.fistchat.com. You can get all our social media, Facebook, Twitter links there. You can interact with us there as well, or you could email us. You can get our MP3s, download us from iTunes, or watch us on YouTube. We've got all our back episodes there. So again, let's launch into film festivals, and we can also talk about the markets associated with some of them as well. What really, I guess, sort of prompted this, apart from the fact that I guess we've got a lot of, sort of history at going to festivals, and also we've got our own opinions on them as well. But I came across an article by a filmmaker entitled "Why I Will Never Pay a Film Festival Submission Fee Again." And apart from preaching to the converted as far as I was concerned, it actually made a lot of good points that I don't think are really as well known if you haven't gone through the process. I think there's something that you could sort of get into a problem as a filmmaker if you go out, you make your film, you send it out to a whole bunch of festivals, and if you get rejected by all of them, aside from wasting all the money that, in festival fees and whatever, there might also be this perception of maybe the film wasn't good enough, or it didn't, cut the mustard. There were a whole bunch of better films. And there might even be people telling you that your films are bad or they're crap because they're not getting selected. But there's a lot more to it than that, you would think, isn't there?
Well, yes, of course, there are a lot more things involved than simply just getting your film accepted. I mean, we talk about this a lot, Ben, but the truth is that films are a big business, and film festivals in the last 10 years have become part of that big business. So if you spend a lot of money on a film, the best way to get some publicity for it and to generate a bit of hype is through a film festival. And I think there are 12 big ones.
Yeah, around 12 big ones, like Cannes, Sundance, Berlin, probably Venice is in there, I think.
Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. I can't think of... There's probably... they'll probably shoot me for not... Yeah, that might fit in there as well. They'll probably shoot me for not remembering them, but who cares? Because they've never accepted one of my films. There you go.
It's only because they don't have any taste. No, I didn't say that.
Or should I say don't have any stars? But maybe we could sort of incorporate that. Now, I just wanted to read out one of the things that in this article. Simply put, the film festival submission process is the filmmaking equivalent to the lottery. But it's actually worse, because at least all lottery ticket buyers are playing on the same level. Do you think every film that is submitted to a festival gets equal consideration? That automatically gets you thinking right there.
Well, Ben, if you obviously, and I know you know this, but any of the film instructional filmmaking gurus who can tell you how to make a film tell you how important the festival director is, because the festival director and the programs director within there choose the films, and it is not simply a lottery, and it is simply not a level playing field. There are other things going on in the background that will really influence the program, and to be realistic, a film festival that runs for, a week, say, or 4 or 5 days, which is generally a fairly long one, there are only limited spots. They can't show every movie. There is a criteria they select films on, and it certainly isn't on quality. But I'll let you.
But that's actually a good point. And even if you gave them the benefit of the doubt, I think something that just doesn't get told by a lot of these festivals, because they want your submission fee, is the simple fact that they have categories. They are looking for certain types of films, and if you make a horror film or a sci-fi film or even your arty, I don't know, meaning of life film, but they don't have that category in the festival, they claim on their websites that maybe they do have these sort of categories, but they are looking for certain types of films. And if your film doesn't fit it, it's going to not get selected. But they don't tell you that. They'll just say, unfortunately, we couldn't fit you into the festival this year. But it would be a lot more helpful if you knew beforehand that you never had a chance to begin with.
Well, that's true, Ben. But I mean, if you're running a business, why would you want to chop your business in half? You want everyone to think that by paying their fee, they've got a shot.
And that's an excellent point, but that's something that has to be, I guess, when you think of it that way, then it starts to make a lot more sense. And an excellent example of this, and Elliot Grove, I think, sort of touched on it as well in his 99-minute film school about Tarantino and Reservoir Dogs. Yes. And I wanted to throw in here, I'll see if I can find the YouTube link and post it on the Facebook site, but there's an interview with Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, and they're on a panel somewhere. Someone's asked them, what advice, the standard answer, what advice would you give to people who want to, get into a film festival? And they were sort of saying, so many people are making so much stuff and whatever. And Tarantino comes out and he says, if you've made a really kick-ass film like I did with Reservoir Dogs, it's like throwing a stick of nitro in there. It'll blow up and everyone will notice. And he kind of gave the impression that it was the film that got him noticed there. But what he failed to mention was that he had Harvey Keitel backing him up in the backing of the film. And miraculously, it happened to, premiere at all the big festivals and whatever, and he became a big hit. And that's something that Elliot Grove said in his 99-minute film school. Do you think he took the chance that the quality of the film would get him selected? Of course not.
No, yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. And if you look deeper into the film festival, I guess, persona or psyche, if that's indeed what it is, I mean, you have to make a film for the festival director. In fact, I think this has been said before, probably here on FiST Chat, but you don't make a film for your audience who's going to pay their $16. You're making a film for the people that are going to exhibit your film. Now, if that's at a film festival, you've basically have to make sure that they know who you are. You have to make sure that there's something in it for them to select your film, and that if they do show your film, then everyone's going to get a share of the pie. And that's pretty much how it works. I wouldn't necessarily say that film festivals, are always derivative in terms of their selection, but there's certainly, there's a lot of pressure, especially when you're running a business. Forget the art, it's all a business. When you're running a business, you've got to make money. And that's what film festivals really set out to do.
And I guess just to draw the line under that point, and this is something that's mentioned in the article here, it's not about the festival itself. The festival's fine. It's the submission process. And as I've said here, he's saying he freely admits, I don't pretend to know the inner workings of the selection process, but many films do so through, as you've said, back channels, who knows who, and sometimes even bribery, even though it's friendly and playful. Many films get selected after screening at a major festival or because the star of the film has connections, and there is no way to compete with that. Absolutely no way to compete with that. And if you simply send in a film with the chances of someone watching it that actually has power to program it, the chances are very slight. So I guess that's something we all got to be aware of when we're making our 15-minute opus that we want the whole world to see. But I guess if we move along, they've had a lot of comments to the article as well, and there's lots of filmmakers saying similar things about how that sort of thing happens. And I mean, I've had conversations with, filmmaking colleagues, with yourself, other actors. I mean, I've had a couple of actors who've worked on my films who've said, I don't know why this film didn't get selected for a festival. Why did... and they're not saying it. I mean, I'm sure part of it is because they're saying they're in it, but I trust them enough to know that at least with a couple of them, they think that what they worked on was worthwhile, and they can't see why it wasn't selected. And it's for these reasons that we've said. It's almost like one other point that's mentioned in one of the comments is that you can take a film like Clerks, right, that went through the festival process, and they said, can you imagine that film becoming successful in the way that it did now? And the answer is probably no. And that's not to slight Kevin Smith or, what he did with the film or however he marketed it back then. But the whole the rules of the game have changed. And there's so much influence from Hollywood, particularly in places like Sundance and Cannes, where basically... as one sales agent from the UK mentioned to me when I went to one of the Cannes festivals one year, he said it's basically just become an arm of the Hollywood distribution system. So that's not to say you shouldn't have a look at the festivals, but you've got to keep all of that in mind when you're selecting it. And it also, I have to say, you have to make a good film because... Yeah, of course, there is that element of quality. There's no way that if you make a bad film that you're going to get in unless you're so well connected that it gets in.
I mean, the only thing I'd say further to that is make sure you make a good film. And then, look, unless you're really well connected, your uncle's somebody very famous, you're not going to get into one of the top 12 film festivals. Okay? It's just as simple as that. Go for a film festival where maybe you do know the people. I mean, film festivals are an important way of making sure that your film is acknowledged, and is a really important way to have your film promoted. Maybe the top 10 film festivals are for Hollywood distribution, but you can do it yourself. Find a film festival that you know you can get accepted into and perhaps even win a prize. Maybe even set up your own film festival so you win all the prizes, and then that will get you a little bit of notoriety, and you can start moving up the scale. So once you've won all the prizes at your own film festival, it becomes a little bit more perhaps attractive to your national film festival. You might get on there, you might even get nominated. Maybe you know somebody on there, or you can make connections, and you just keep working up the chain until you make it all the way to the top, which is, after all, what Hollywood is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are numerous, I think Slamdance is actually an excellent example of a group of guys who got rejected from Sundance, and then they set up their own festival, and now it's almost as big as Sundance anyway. So see how it all works. I think, and I think just one final point on this topic is to make sure that don't go wasting your money submitting, to so many festivals. I mean, you have people telling you have to submit. You have to keep in mind that it could cost anywhere between $25 and $100 to submit to a film festival. You multiply that out to 30 or 40 festivals, and all of a sudden you're a couple of thousand in the hole. And I've already done that. I've gone through that process. I've spent thousands and thousands. And ironically, the festivals where I did get selected, I either did know who was running the thing, or there wasn't a fee charged. So, I think you have to be very careful. You have to be a lot more careful about doing, I guess it's almost like a due diligence sort of thing. You have to do your research about who you send it to, where you send it to. And if all else fails, there's the internet.
Well, I'd suggest any FiST Chat listeners out there who have made a film but didn't get into a festival, tweet us. Maybe we can organise to put it up on one of our sites.
Oh, of course.
So everyone at FiST Chat could watch it.
Absolutely, and that's how it works in this age. Everyone shares and everyone gets to see it, and it just opens up a whole new avenue for your film to get seen, so it's not sitting on the shelf. And if there's one thing that I've always found annoying is until the internet really kicked off with video streaming, was that once you made a film and you've done your couple of screenings, if it didn't get into a festival, then it just sat on the shelf. So it's a good feeling to know that you can, in one way, shape or form, get it out there.
Absolutely, and FiST Chat is behind all filmmakers.
Absolutely, we absolutely are. So thanks again, Steve, for the chat. Interesting again, and I'm sure we'll come back to filmmaking in some way in the future as well, maybe from some other angle.
You bet we will.
Absolutely. So don't forget our website, www.fistchat.com. Check out this episode and all our past episodes there. But until next week when we'll be back, have a good week.